In this video, we're going to implement rendering only relevant posts on the homepage timeline of the user. We're going to show only posts which are placed in the same group I am part of or which are posted by the users I am following. Now, let's make a commit and save everything. And I'm going to give it, basically we did a couple of things. Actually, I'm surprised that there are not that many files changed, but we did a couple of things. We have outputted posts on the profile page. We have outputted the followers and followings on the profile page. We have also implemented follow unfollow functionality. This we did in the previous commit. Okay, good. Which we already committed. Okay, this is more like outputting the follows and followers. We can have a look. Fix some bugs in the group in the post loading for the group. We have outputted the posts and followers and followings inside the user profile page. We have fixed more bugs. We have replaced this group form text area into CK editor, which we can, by the way, commit into a separate commit message, which is also a good idea. Yeah, I generally recommend to commit such things. This is an atomic commit, so it is not related to something else. So I recommend to commit this in a separate message, but to save some time for you while you're watching this, I will include this in the same commit message. Okay. Okay, so, and this is basically all. The biggest changes what we have right now is inside the profile view. So let's select everything and write output posts, followers, and followings on user profile page. Okay, additionally, we can write after one line, use CK editor in group about. Okay, let's commit this. Now, we have several remaining things. One of them is to output photos right here. Second is that on homepage, I don't want to see somebody else's, I should not see somebody else's posts if I am not following to that user. So for example, Mary, I am not following to Mary. I should not see Mary's posts on my timeline. So this is my timeline on homepage. So let's go in the home controller and we're going to change how we're selecting posts right here. So this is good and we're going to leave these, but we are going to add additional joins right here. So we need to select only posts which is made by the users I am following to. So let's do this inner join or join followers as FE, and then the followers, I always get confused with this. So I'm going to write here where I am the user, or basically I am the follower. So I'm following to somebody else. So if follower ID, okay, is me, and this is the user ID. And I want to find all the users posts. So user ID, okay, equals to posts user ID. Okay, this is how it's going to be. So I'm joining my posts into followers. Generally, I double check my query inside SQL client. So if I just write select everything from posts, we need to do this join on followers, we can remove the schema name. Join on followers, where followers, I am the follower, follower ID is me, for example, in this case, or 1. I think user John has ID 1. That's right. So, and we're going to only query posts. And I see only 3 posts right now. User 3 is Zura. So I'm following to Zura probably. Let's go to my profile page. And I'm following to Zura, and I only see Zura's posts here, which kind of makes sense. But we also want to select the posts which is posted inside the group I am part of. Now it gets complicated. We're going to do this on the home page. So because we are doing here inner join, basically it's going to always return only 3 posts. So here we need to change this into left join. And we also have this if follower ID equals 1, and because of it, it's going to always select these 3 posts, okay? Which I'm going to also comment out for now. This is going to return all the posts, okay? And I'm going to select in front of it what is the follower ID. And my follower ID basically is 1. So I need to select only those posts where the follower ID is 1, or I need to join this using left join into group users. Okay, let's give it an alias GU on group user ID is my ID. I'm going to give it 1. Okay, and I'm going to join then, or I don't need to join actually, and the group user post ID, not post ID, group user has group ID equals posts group ID. Okay, let me select, and I'm going to put this and follower ID is 1, in which case I don't need this here. So let's see, we're selecting the follower ID and we're going to select the group user group ID. So now let's have a look. It selected a lot of records, but there's only 3 records where the follower ID exists, and this is me. Okay, and the interesting thing is that there are 65 rows right now. How many posts do we have totally in the database? I think we have 65. That's correct. Okay, this is the thing. I should select only those posts where either follower ID exists or group ID exists. So this post, which has ID 70, let me check these one by one. I need to make sure that I'm writing everything correctly. So I'm going to open this post, and we have this 67, which is made by Mary. And it's a global post by Mary. Okay, I'm not following to Mary, so I don't need to see this. This is correct. This should be excluded. This one, which is done in the vue.js group, probably What's wrong with that post? Oh, it is deleted. Okay, I need to exclude deleted posts as well. Where posts deleted at is null. This is how I'm going to select. Now we have only 58. Okay, let's check these 3 posts. And all of them probably belong to Mary. That's correct. Do we have others, like this one, for example? Okay, this is made by me. Obviously, I need to find the posts, which is made by me as well. So inside the where, I need to write where if follower ID is not null, that should not be null, or GU group ID is not null, or if both are null, then I should be the owner of this post, or the user ID needs to be equal to 1. Okay, so this should be included, and basically everything else should be included, or posts user ID equals to 1. Now if I select this, I see 62, which I don't know if that's correct, but we're going to check it. This post is made by me. It is made inside the PHP 8 group. Okay, let's look at this from the user 2 perspective, which is, I think, Mary. So if I type here 2 and 2 here, then we still have 62. No, here we need 2 as well. Actually, I can use a variable colon user ID here, and when I execute, PHP Storm will ask me to enter the ID. So I'm going to enter 2. I see 65. Why? Because Mary is also part of the vue.js developers, right? A lot of posts are actually created by Mary. Then whichever is not created by Mary is posted deleted it. Why those are included? Hold on. I'm making a mistake. This is it. So we need to put this in the parentheses. The post must not be deleted, and either follower ID is not null, or the group ID is not null, or the post is owned by the user. So that's correct. Now let's execute. We have 58 for Mary. Mary is following let's bring the user ID. Okay, Mary, it looks like Mary is following to user Zura, and that's why we see this one here. If I log in right now as Mary and open Zura's page and unfollow, then I execute this query again, I don't see one ID here. However, Mary is following to, that was John Smith, by the way, not Zura. It has Zura's image, but it's a John Smith. And Mary is following to Zura. Okay, if I unfollow from Zura as well, then we see null here as well. Okay. If then John Smith will open this Vue.js developers group, go inside the users, and will delete Mary from this. Now, poor Mary will not be able to see any posts except his own global posts, which are, I think, only these posts, where the user ID is 2. Okay, now we need to translate this query into our home controller. Let's go in the home controller. We need to do left join on followers. Can we have multiple conditions? Left join what is the difference between left join and left join where? So when I do the left join, I have here 2 conditions. I want to join based on this and this. Let me ask ChatGPT. I want to write left join row query in Laravel. Is it possible? Is it possible? Maybe I can directly... No, let me actually ask. I was going to copy and paste the code, but we have this post for timeline, and I have to grab this part of code as well. Let's see. Okay. If I write db row here, inside left join, it is not going to work. Let me grab this code. I already have the following code, and I want to add one extra left join with 2 conditions on table join. Okay, on left join we can pass I didn't know that. Okay, if we get this now, so we're gonna do this left join on followers. Let's give it as if. So, and we have these 2, we need these 2 conditions. We have to small screen to do it. This is the first condition. On post user ID equals if, that should go here. And we have an additional where the follower ID equals the user ID. How it did understand that I wanted a variable here? Okay, and then we have another left join in the same way. In this case, we have this group users as GU, where the group user ID, where we have this first. And group user ID GU user ID is the given user ID. And inside where, because we are querying only posts, first of all, let's just write select posts, everything from posts. We don't have select here. Inside where, we're going to write the follower ID is null, or group ID is null, or the post user ID is the user ID. Is not null, actually. So I'm going to write a where, but I'm going to pass a function here. We're going to accept the query, and then we're going to write where. Let's define what type of variable query is. This is going to be illuminate database. It should be builder. Illuminate database query builder. So we need the we are not null. Okay, where the if follower ID is not null, or where not null, or the GU group ID is not null, or where the post user ID is the user ID, or where post user ID equals to user ID. We need to use this user ID, and then we have this paginate. Okay, I want to double check one thing, just to make sure that we don't have duplicated posts. Basically, if user Mary, we're selecting Mary's posts right now. Vue.js developers. Okay, we need to join, request to join into Vue.js developers. Let's approve that join. Okay, now if I execute this query, previously we had only 15 rows, but now if we execute this, we're going to see 56, because there are a lot of rows in the Vue.js developers, and now Mary has access on them as well. So Mary will now see posts created by user, for example, inside this Vue.js developers, but Mary is also following the user. Zura. Okay, hold on. This post, which has ID 71, is this in the list? It is. But so basically, if I remove Mary again from these Vue.js developers, Mary still should see Zura's posts. And this is the Zura's post Vue.js developers. Even though Mary might not be part of the Vue.js developers, I want she to see Zura's posts. Why I don't see this user ID? If I completely remove join on the group users and remove this GUID, and if I execute this for a second user, this post, the post with ID 71, should be visible to Mary, but it is not visible. Let me check in the followers. So I'm John Smith, excuse me, I'm John Smith. John Smith is following to Zura. Mary is not following to Zura. This is the reason. Let's undo it. Let's execute this. Now, if I follow user and if I refresh the select, okay, I see these 3 posts. And even if I remove Mary from the group, by the way, I need to also check the status that the group user and GU status should be approved. But before I do this, let's go in the group users, and I'm going to find the user ID equals 2, which is Mary, and there are 2 groups. I think this is the vue.js developers. But anyway, I'm going to change both into pending. But if I reload, the result is not going to change. I have some syntax error. And so we're going to still see these 56 posts. Okay, and Mary still be able to see posts from group 12, which is not correct. But as soon as we add right here an extra condition, GU status needs to be approved. Then look at this. So Mary is able to see only 18 rows. Only 18. So we need extra where here, where GU status needs to be group user status approved. Now let's give it approved text. And if we execute this query, we're going to see again 56 records. If now we're going to open the home page for Mary, now we see how many posts do we see? Let's check the network. I'm going to reload, and we see right here. And let's go in the meta, and we see totally 56, which is great. So those posts are either my posts, which, by the way, should I see my posts on my timeline? No, that doesn't make sense, right? So I'm going to exclude my posts on my home timeline. So I'm selecting those things. I think we need to simply remove this. So I need to see only posts I am following the user to, or I'm in the same group and my status is approved. This means I'm in the same group and my status is approved. So I don't need this part. And if we execute this, there are still a couple of posts by me. So maybe we need not our post ID is this, the user ID is this, but your support is the most important thing for me. So the single best thing what you can do right now is to pause the video, hit the subscribe and the like button, and continue watching. I would really appreciate. Thank you. We need and posts user ID is not the user ID. Okay, if we execute that, now we see only 41 posts, and all of them are somebody else's. So if we go on the home page, this part needs to be deleted, or maybe I'm just going to cut, and we need another where, which is going to be end where, or just where posts user ID where not, where this is not this. Now let's refresh this page. I'm going to scroll. The load more actually triggered, and we see 41. Okay, and having a look at this right now, I can see that Zura is the user, and John Smith. We see all posts from either coming from Zura or John Smith. You see that? All of them. And right now, I will open this Zura's profile page and I'm going to do unfollow. However, I will still see Zura's post because it is made inside the Vue.js developers. And I am part of the Vue.js developers. Now I'm going to follow the user Zura back. Do I follow John Smith? I don't follow John Smith. Now I will log out, and from user John, I will open the Vue.js developers and I will remove Mary from here. And now if Mary will check her timeline, she's only going to see Zura's posts, and there's only 3 posts by Zura. Okay, she's not able to see John Smith's post or anything related to Vue.js developers, because she's not part of the Vue.js developers anymore. But if Mary will come across to John Smith's profile, if Mary will come across to John Smith's profile and follow the user, then Mary will be able to see John Smith's every post coming from John Smith on his timeline. And that should come from the latest post, should pop up here. We have 17 emails. User removed, user edit. Let me mark, actually let's just delete everything. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to open the application in incognito, and I'm going to join, actually log in as John at example.com. Okay, and I'm going to make this global new post. I'm going to hit on submit. I'm going to move this on the left screen, and okay, we don't have that functionality implemented. When post is created, we're going to notify the users who is following me that I made a new post. This is the notification what we need to do. But right now, if I reload the page, I'm going to see this new post made by John Smith, which is awesome. Now let's implement this notification when post is made. So we're going to open post controller, and we have the store here, and this is, if the group exists, we're going to get all the approved users. Okay. And before we send this notification, by the way, post created, which accepts group as well. New post was added in the group. So this basically the post created notification. I'm going to try to use this notification for sending a notification to when the post was made globally. So I will try it. Okay, I'm gonna get all the users who is following me, and that me is basically this user. So let's open user.php, and I want to get my followers. I'm gonna check this group.php, and here we have these approved users. I'm gonna copy and paste this and adjust things. So user, let's write followers. User belongs to many another user. And through followers table, where I think we need this. We need these proper foreign keys to we. So I want to select followers. I think we don't need this. So I'm going to select all the users whose follower ID is written inside the followers, and my user ID is written inside the followers. So this should work. We don't need this where. So if I go in the post controller and I'm going to select all the followers, this is going to be user followers. Let me just dump this, my followers. At the moment, I'm logged in as Mary. So let me log out and log in as John. Let's go into my profile and see who are my followers. Mary is only my follower. So whenever I submit a post, okay, something was wrong. Test, hit on submit. What's going on? I see what is going on. I'm excluding my my posts from this. So I don't see my posts here. This is my main timeline. Okay. Strange. Not strange, it's very obvious. However, I'm thinking how to fix this. Maybe at the moment, let's just display my posts as well. Let's undo this part. Maybe, hold on. I'm just gonna copy this, then undo. And then I'm gonna paste this and just comment. So if I need this, I can easily comment this and uncomment that. So now I should see my posts. Okay, good. And the thing, why this is not triggered, because there's no group. So if I try to submit new post right now, we see that there's only one follower, and that follower is John Smith. Wait, what? Let's check the followers. So I want to select my followers, which means I want to select this. My user ID is this. So I want to select this, which has ID 2. This brings myself. I think I just need to define the proper fields. Foreign pivot key, and then we have another related pivot key. Not sure which one is which, but I'm going to type user ID, and this is going to be follower ID. Let's test this. Now this is Mary, and this is correct. If I just reverse this, follower ID and then user ID, this is probably going to give us Zura. It is giving me something different. This. So who I am following. So it is giving me who I am following. So basically this, I'm going to copy this. So let me undo it. So these are my followers. However, actually I have already copied. So these will be my followings. Okay, and if I check the profile controller, I'm selecting these followers and followings. So what I can do is user followers and user followings. That should work. Let me check into my profile page. Followers only Mary, following Sura. So this is working. Great. Now we see that this is working correctly, the followers. So we have these followers, and I'm going to use this notification to send email to followers. I don't need to pass group, so I'm going to pass null instead of group. I'm just passing the post. I'm going to make this group nullable. By default, can be null. Then this line should only be written, I'm going to use line if this group exists. Okay, so if this group exists, it expects a boolean, so let's use double exclamation here. So if this group exists, then new post was added in group, let's say vue.js developers. Okay, but I think we need to pass here the user information as well. So let's add second argument, public user. Let's import this user. For the group, we're going to write new post was added by user. This user username. However, a line if the group doesn't exist, if not this group, we're going to write the following message: new post was added by user, and we're going to remove this in group. Let's check this. So I'm creating new post, hit on submit. Okay. Let's use question mark here. Hit on submit, and we received the email. Post created. Hello, new user was added. New post was added by user John Smith and view post. I'm going to click on the post, and I see this new post. So as a follower of John, I receive this notification. Let's test this once again. Let's access to user John Smith, and I'm going to follow, and I'm going to follow to John Smith as Zura as well. Now, if John Smith creates a post, John Smith basically received 2 notifications. Zura has followed and John too has followed. We can clear all. And now if John will make post, we hit on submit. 3 emails were sent to Zura, to John too, and Mary, that post created by John Smith, which is awesome. Let's give it some attachment. Hit on submit. Post was created, and we see 3 more emails. Okay, and now the timeline is actually very clean. I see my own posts as well, which is something not very ideal. But maybe we can think something in the future how to improve this. Okay, and one of the last things we need probably just to show my followings right here. Now we're going to do this on the home page. We have these groups, and we have this user. We should have this user. Let's create this user. Request user. We're going to call followings. So those are the users I am following to. We can directly pass these into home. Followings. And we're going to use user resource collection and pass user followings there. Now, if we check home.view, we're going to accept followings. We are going to pass these users into followings list. We are going to define props right here, users, which needs to be array. And we have these following list items. We're going to pass these users into following list items. We're going to again define props users here to be array. And then we need to iterate over those users and render them. Let's open profile/view, and we have this user list item, which I'm going to copy and paste here. This is going to be users. Probably we don't need shadow. Okay, there is only one user I am following to. If I check my profile, I can see that I'm following only this. But I need to follow others as well just to test this. I'm going to follow John too, and I'm going to follow to Mary. And when I check my homepage, I can see Zura, John, and Mary. I can see their profile easily. I can go there and do this unfollow. Great. This is awesome. Let's log in with Zura. And I'm going to go into my profile, and I'm going to change my picture into something like this. Let's hit, then I'm going to go back. Then John will log in and the image will be updated for Zura. Let's slightly reduce the font size for the group list. Text LG. Now this is something else. Group list items, and we have this group item. Text LG. We just remove this. Okay, and we see this admin, but it is not actually very visible. I think this description, outputting the description right here, is useless. We see these vue.js developers. I'm going to give it items center. Okay, this John Smith is inside test 7, but the status is not approved. Okay, why do I see, if this status is not approved, why do I see pending request right here? Who is the owner of this test 7 group? Maybe we have some bug. I need to check this. Test 7 group, the owner is John Smith. Then how is it possible that my status inside the group which I created is not approved? Probably I did something by hand. This admin wording should be very small. Text XS. I can even put this just below the image. But I need to wrap both of them inside div. Now the height is increased. I'm going to put this instead of description right here. I'm going to remove this margin bottom. Okay, so we did a couple of small things, but we did big things as well. The main thing is that we have now this timeline on which I will never see posts by another users if we are not in the same group or if I don't follow this user, which is great. In the next video, we're going to implement Photos tab. Render all the photos on the group and the user profile page. We're going to also have the possibility to expand the photos on the full screen and just go through these with the next and previous buttons. For this, we're going to use the existing preview component which we created for the post attachments.